Uh, Basically, you look at the football game, you talk about turnovers, and you talk about it, you talk about it, and you talk about it. When they happen, bad things come about it, or good things, depending on which side of the fence you're on. So obviously, those turnovers being -3 in the first half created a big 14-point swing. Number one, when we didn't get the touchdown going in to make it 21-14, and then they drive down the field. So big turning point, I thought, going in at 28-7. When you look at it, statistically, I guess, statistics can lie to you. You still have the -3 turnovers, too many penalties, didn't control the quarterback from a scramble situation, didn't contain the quarterback well enough, too many loose plays that he created. You have to give him credit. Too much yards per rush. I thought Adams ran the ball pretty effectively, even though he didn't have a lot of yards. 50 yards, 57 yards. I thought he ran the ball too effectively. Got to get off the field on third down. Offensively, ball security, got to run the ball more efficiently. And again, penalties, critical penalties. So I know some things are in question, I'm sure, but you got to play what's dealt, the hand that's dealt you. So the thing that we have to do is get ready for Iowa. This was an out-of-conference game, so our focus is on the Big Ten Conference. It would have been anyway, so we're going to live and learn a little bit, young players sometimes, and we're going to make some mistakes, but we've got to be able to overcome those mistakes. But the first pick six, tough, but things happen out on the football field, so I'll take some questions.
Mark, when you're talking about the penalties and the turnovers, how many of them would you say were lack of discipline? And are those things kind of frustrating when you see those are the mistakes you're making?
Yeah, they're frustrating. It's 3rd and 1. I think it's 3rd and 1. We stop them for a loss. We line up off sides. I mean, you can't line up off sides. You realize that when you first start playing football. You cannot line up off sides. And so that's frustrating. A couple maybe were in question, because they're judgment calls, but judgments are made. A couple others, not so much. But I think it was 92 yards in penalties. I think 9 penalties maybe. And then, what we have, 6 penalties or maybe 7 penalties in 2 games for, a couple yards. So got to play more effectively in that area, so that hurts, but ultimately the turnovers are what crushes you, being -3 in the first half.
When the game was clearly out of hand and over, I'm just curious, was there any thought of getting a backup quarterback in just to protect Brian, not pulling him for performance, just literally to protect him?
No, I wanted him to play, and we wanted to keep competing. And I think every snap he takes, he learns. So that's what we decided to do. There was never any thought of, I'm not one to say, hey, let's just put in our guys and let's stop trying to play. I just don't believe in doing that. You got to try and play, and that's part of it. We got to keep competing.
Mark, right here in the middle. In terms of importance, this game, it seems like it could have been, momentum factor, Notre Dame rivalry. You mentioned the statistics can lie. I mean, across the board, other than the score, you guys kind of won in almost every statistical category.
Well, you might say we won, but I don't think we ran the ball as effective as we need to. You throw the ball 50 times, you get 355 yards, but you throw the ball 50 times. Usually there's that's not a good thing for you. So, again, the turnovers, you weigh out the turnovers. That's a score for a touchdown. That's a fumble with a touchdown coming after that, and that's taking 7 off and then going and driving down the field. They hit one big pass play on the first drive, but other than that, I don't think they went up. I don't think they had too many big plays. One on 3rd down, but we got to get off the field on 3rd down. Some the quarterback created. A couple of them, obviously, we could have. In all situations, we have to defend better. But our guys are playing hard. But yeah, statistics can lie to you a little bit.
Mark, what are the conversations with Brian in terms of the balance of making plays and protecting and valuing the football? And then also, what do you say to L.J. Scott now? He's had a couple fumbles at the goal line.
Yeah, the conversations are always about ball security, about making good decisions, especially with your quarterback. But, he's trying to make a play and the ball comes out, and, he's got to be more careful with the football. And nobody feels worse than him. As far as L.J., nobody feels worse than L.J. Scott. I mean, he's got opportunities there stick it in the end zone, go 21-14. But, I just have I'm not going to go over and yell at a guy when he's trying to make an effort play. These guys are trying to make plays. So I'm part of that, and I'm not going to be the finger pointer to go over there and say, hey, you did this, you did that. They don't, we talk ball security. We work ball security every single day, 7 minutes a day of drills. And, credit their guy coming in. I think it was 27 maybe coming in to strip the ball. It was a very close call, Could have went the other way. I don't even know if they could rule from it up top. I think they had to make the call from the field. So could have went the other way, but it didn't. So I don't really know how to handle those things except to try and stay composed as best I can, play for the next play.
Coach, over here, along those same lines with LJ, how much of an issue does it make it for you guys as coaches to kind of balance? I mean, he's put the ball on the ground 3 times, whatever, how much playing time, that kind of thing. He's your best back.
Well, he didn't start last game. So, I thought he played pretty well last game, so we started in this game. And, the rushes sort of balanced out. He had the majority of them early on, I guess. They sort of balanced out, and we'll look at that and try and make decisions. All 3 of those guys are good backs. All 3 of those guys can do certain things. But, again, you look back at the history of our backs and what they have done here, and, there's some value in looking at the history and saying, okay, this guy's done this, and this is the reason why he gets a couple more touches. But, we'll look at that again. We'll see how they played in this game. We'll try and make some evaluations.
Mark, I know that they had a couple quick strike drives, especially with how their tempo was on a night like tonight. What was that situation like in trying to get guys in and off the field? And also, did the offense do what it needed to do in terms of at least the time of possession with this quick strike offense?
Well, I think it was a 7-play drive, and it was quick plays. And they hit the one big one, and then it was just sort of rapid fire. So I think that was the one drive that sort of caught up with us a little bit. We got a sub guys in there a little bit. It got a little bit, it is hot out there, but I didn't sense that we were tired. I felt like we started playing without the emotion maybe that we had. And every time we had a pivotal play where maybe we can get back into this thing, something would happen. Whether there was a penalty on 3rd and 1 that gives them a first down, or a fumble, or in the one situation, or we got a chance to get off the field on 3rd down, at least make them kick a field goal when it's 21, and they sneak we got to peel a guy, and the one that I challenged down the end zone, and the quarterback, we lose contain on the quarterback because we don't have an edge blitzer because he peels off. So things happen for a reason, but in terms of the question asked, I guess the offense needs to control the football. I don't think there's any question. We needed to run the ball more effectively. I said that already. And, they probably won the game up front. When you look at it, I mean, if you got to evaluate it, I don't think we won the game up front. So it's a team game. And its coaches are involved in this too.
Mark, for all that went wrong, do you think, I don't want to call it a silver lining, but do you think the fixability rate is pretty high? Or as a coach, how do you fix?
Oh, we're not broken. We played 2 good football games. There are times in this football game where it looks like we're going to make a play and then something happens. But you got to execute, and you got to execute consistently. But we're not broken. I think our football team can win a lot of football games. We got guys that can make plays. I was impressed with Tristan Jackson tonight. Made some catches, which he needed to do and step up, and he made some big catches. And, you saw a couple younger players make some catches as well, so that was a positive thing. But, you got to evaluate the film. I'm just going off what I saw on the field. You evaluate the film, and there's plenty of things that we're going to see and say, well, if this would have happened, or should that have not have happened, you're going to say, well, the outlook might have been different. But, the bottom line is -3, and 2 of them are impact the score of a game by 14 points. That's very difficult to overcome in any football game. That evens it up pretty quick if you're, it's tough to overcome.
Mark,
Yeah,
along the same lines, a minute ago you said you're not sure if you won up front. Probably not. And I think many of us would agree that maybe you did, maybe you didn't. The point is, it was kind of competitive up front, both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Have you ever been involved in a game where it's, you're not sure if you won up front or not, but you lose by 3 touchdowns. Does that speak to what you're talking about a minute ago?
No, it's turnover margin. You know, as I said earlier,
But
I
you
mean,
had
we've been historically very good at turnover margin. I mean, we led the Big Ten in 13, 14, and 15 in turnover margin. And right now, that's biting us. Okay, that's raising its head. And we keep working at that. And some of these are effort turnovers, effort by the defense, effort by the offensive player, but, you know, it still comes out and you still have to deal with it. So we have to control that aspect of the football game. However we do it, we have to control that aspect of the football game to be successful. Everybody does. Very difficult to win -3, two scores, as I just said. So we need to get back on that. But I think without those indicators, it's probably a pretty competitive football game. But I still think that we need to play better against the run. We got them in the third down, but they were third mediums. Good. I got one more. I can stay here all night. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, get ready. We're excited about that. We're excited about opening up Big Ten State. Iowa comes here. Should be a great football game. We'll play well. Get back on it. Okay.
Is there a different sense of urgency maybe this time around, given the magnitude of this loss? Does it change the way that you look
magnitude, that's the wrong word to use. I don't look at it as a magnitude, you know. I can tell you this, there is not one game that we play that is not important. Not one. Sense of urgency, there's a sense of urgency in every game, every preparation, everything that we do. Always has been, always will be, and that's just the way we're built. That's the way every football team is built. So, you know, I'm not going to make this bigger than it should be, nor am I going to minimize it. Hey, we lost the football game. Here's the reasons. Okay, correct those reasons. Let's go to the next one. We win the next football game. We move forward. Okay. Thanks, guys.